Hello and welcome to Intentional Growth, a video series here on my Substack. In today's video I want to talk about if you allow yourself to grow. I actually have been thinking about this because I meet so many people, both when I have been working as an educator, but also when just talking to people, and I have relatives as well and others in my close circle, that people that don't allow themselves to grow because they say this is just the way I am, or this is how I was made by God or something. But most often, this is how I am, this is how I was meant to be, this is just deal with it or leave, essentially. And one of my most beloved people was my grandfather. He was amazing, I love him so much, but he was a little bit like that, that some people may find him a little bit too rigid, a little bit too not allowing himself any growth, because actually in therapy he was asked to just go out of therapy and go away because he couldn't improve himself. And that might be a fault of the therapist, because a good therapist will never just tell somebody to go. So maybe in that time or back in that day, the therapists weren't that good. So it can be something like that, of course. But even when I knew my grandfather, he wasn't somebody who was known for growing and changing. He was always the same. And although I always loved him and could relate to him and could go on well with him, I also realized that is because I am adaptable in a sense, and he is not. He is more static and I am more dynamic, I guess. And this is just an example. This is just an example of people who are not helping themselves in a way, because they say this is who I am, and that is not an answer. That is not an answer. I mean, you can't say that, honestly. I mean, if everybody said that, even people who are clearly in the wrong, then no changes would be done to society and we wouldn't develop at all. So we should normalize changing more. Of course, it can also be that some people just give up because it's not an easy world we live in. We live in a very difficult world, and more now than ever, people are tired of being told that no matter of how much you have grown, the world and society will not grow with you. So of course, maybe that is a reason for some people. I know it is for me. But I don't know, if we always keep saying that, we will never have any purpose, we will never do anything. And I don't see that as beneficial for anyone. And I know I have had relationships with people who didn't have a meaning. They said that their meaning was I was their anchor in life, or other people was the entire meaning of why they are living here right now. And that is not healthy either. We have to have our own meaning, and we can't live for everybody else. And that is, of course, twofold. It can be selfish, but it can also be self-beneficial. It can be, most of the time, I think it is beneficial to the society to be a little bit self-centered, if you will. So my question to you is, do you even allow yourself to grow if you want to grow? Do you allow it? Do you do what needs to be done from your part to grow? I mean, it's easy to say maybe that we need to do stuff ourselves, and it's a very privileged take in many cases to say that we all have the same stuff we can take from, and we all have the same resources, because we don't have the same resources. It's simply not the case. I don't mean that. I mean that sometimes we think we have done everything, but we haven't. And it's a little tiny bit extra we need to do to see any results. And I don't think it's just bad to say that take a look around and see if you can change anything more. I know it's a privileged take to think that everybody has the same resources, because they haven't, and I know that as a disabled person of color who is also clearly LGBTQ, you can see but the flag, I know it's not easy, and I don't mean to say that it's easy. That's not the point of this video. I just wondering if there is something else you can do, and if you allow yourself any growth at all, or if you have given up entirely. And I don't blame you. I don't blame any person who has given up. I don't blame anyone, because I have several friends who literally have given up on life, and they are no longer with us, and I don't blame them. I blame the system. But what they didn't do was to reach out to me, for example, or anyone else in their life. I don't mean to blame them. I don't want to blame them. And most certainly they did enough, but they didn't do everything. And that's the key point as well. We can do enough, but not everything. Two things can be true at the same time. It was something I learned in DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, that two opposites can be true at the same time. So you may want to give up, but you also may want to live. Or maybe you want to give up, but maybe you also want to live. I'm not here to judge whatever step you may take, and this is not the point. It's just a reflective piece of media that asks you to look over your shoulder again and look if you really have done everything you think you have done, and if you really are stuck. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a therapist, reach out to me even, reach out to anyone and ask them for feedback. Maybe they come to another conclusion. You don't have to do this alone. Came to think about this when I was thinking about my grandfather, that he didn't always allow himself to grow internally and as a person. And maybe that was a fault of the time he grew up in. He grew up 1922, I think, and it was another time back then. But now in the information era, it seems like we have everything, and it's easier than ever to find solutions, and we should take advantage of that. And if you can't do much, you can do a little. That was everything I had to share for this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.